Today, my promise is really to describe innovation, what it means for your business, why it's relevant in today's market, and to show you some operating models that can help you increase your innovation velocity. Because we know that the market is going quickly, which means that innovation has to go quickly as well. I look at innovation not as a cost, but as an opportunity and how to drive value into the business. And the ultimate objective is for your company to be great at innovation, not just because it's a good thing to do, but because it sustains your business over time. And not innovating causes a long decline. So the decline is really slow. Dying takes a long time. It doesn't happen overnight. And a lot of times dying isn't even noticeable to the people who are inside the company. They don't know they're dying. However, most people know that they're not innovating. They know nothing new is going on and nothing exciting is happening inside the company. So what do you do about that? A lot of companies are looking to Silicon Valley as a way to find opportunity for innovation. They're looking at the startups. What are startups doing? How can I leverage startups? How can I find startups? So people generally today have two approaches. Neither one is very effective. But the first one is people look around Silicon Valley. They go tour, they go talk to VCs. We basically call that entertainment. They don't get anything out of it. They don't end up with any value. Or they say, oh, I should be like a VC. I should invest. I should spend millions of dollars. I should make big bets. I should have a big portfolio of startups that I invest in. Well, that's also great, but that's not for everybody. People look over here and they say, oh, I'm going to ask my customer. I'm going to do market research. And I'm going to focus on a roadmap for what my business should be looking like. And that's actually insufficient. That will give you incremental value or incremental changes in your company. But really, you can look out here. So this is where I spend a lot of my time. 3 to 5 years from now, what does your market look like? What's happening in that market 3 to 5 years from now? What are the megatrends that are affecting you? What are the demographics going to look like? What are the new technologies that are coming out? What are the new competitors? What are they doing? What are your competitors doing? So looking out 3 to 5 years and getting a picture, then you know where to go. And now you know how big the gap is from where you are to where you need to be. 3 to 5 years from now is not going to be exactly correct. So I like to say, directionally right, specifically wrong. You're going to have a little bit of a plan. You're going to start going in that direction, and then you're going to check and make sure in another 6 months or in another year, am I still heading in the right direction? That's better than doing nothing, and it's better than being incrementally focused. The first thing to realize is that economics rule in the marketplace, and new technologies change the economics. So when you're looking at the emerging future reality, and we're looking at let's look at the new technologies, let's look at the economics that those technologies change. So in each technology, the economics drive adoption. So why do they drive adoption? So the network digital economy, that saved cost. The mobile economy, that was faster, so we did things faster. The sharing and social economy, we understood what everybody else was doing, and that was beneficial because then we knew what was happening in the marketplace a lot faster. Internet of Things, this is just coming on, right? So people are starting to work in Internet of Things. So that is more information that's out there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Big data and analytics is also just starting to emerge. So people are using the information that's out there in the marketplace, not just from people, but from things, to understand more what's going on and how to get better insights for their business and to drive value. So those are the disruptive events or technologies that are coming, but their adoption is based on the economics. So the economic opportunity really is to create value, and the threat is really to look at how these are not simple. They're not simple to adopt. They're not simple to use. But those people who can figure out how to adopt them, how to implement them, and how to make the economics work for their business can get a competitive advantage and drive value into the business. So the reason Internet of Things is working is because the cost of components that go into the Internet of Things and connecting something to the Internet is very low. The components are just driving down to cents, right? So we're under $1 for a big component, for all the components that you need to connect your toaster to the Internet, or connect your doorbell to the Internet, or connect your refrigerator to the Internet, whatever you want. Garage door. I have my garage door connected to the Internet. I know when it's open and closed. I know how long it's been open and closed, and I know who opened and closed it. So I like that. the value is increasing, right? So the value to me of the fact that I left my garage door open is very high because I keep a lot of things in my garage door. So Internet of Things produces the value based on the information that you care about. So do I care that my toaster is connected to the internet? Probably not. Do I care that my garage door is? Probably do. Now, if I'm a toaster manufacturer, do I want all my toasters that are out there in the field to be connected to the internet? You bet. So there's an economic value to the consumer, there's an economic value to the manufacturer, and all of that plays into the adoption of the internet. Okay. How about mobile apps? So is Uber a taxi company? No. Uber is what? A logistics company. Not just transportation, but logistics. And they don't, as we all know, they don't own the drivers, the cars, none of the infrastructure, right? So they're only software. They play at the software level. They basically are really good at things getting from point A to point B. So who should be worried about Uber? FedEx, UPS, all of the delivery companies, any of the local delivery companies. So Uber is competing now with Google and Amazon, Safeway Delivery, etc. So Uber has a high valuation, not because they're moving people around, but because they're moving things around. Now, if we think about autonomous driving vehicles, maybe I don't even own my car, but Uber can send me a car and they can take me where I want to go. I don't have a car anymore. The economics of that are really great. No insurance, no gas, no maintenance, no car. I like it. So Uber has a very high valuation because they have great economics and they will change the economic picture of what's happening. So let's look at the different horizons of time. So in the very short period, so in this year, you have current business challenges that you want to solve. These are the things that are right in front of you. You can see, you probably know what they are, and you know probably how to solve them. You might be looking at startups to address the opportunity. You might be a startup. You might be trying to address that particular opportunity. And then in the 12 to 24 months, that's really a co-development opportunity. So I want to start building my network of other companies who I can build with. So whether they're other startup companies or they're other corporations, who do I connect up to so I can start building something that's bigger than where I am today? And in this case, the ROI isn't necessarily so clear right up front. So it's something that you're building over time, you're kind of heading in a certain direction, and you're discovering with the partners what's working and what doesn't. And then in more than 24 months, then we're talking about business transformation. So these are the things that are kind of a couple years off. You want to start learning about, you want to start developing, you want to start putting in place so that in a couple of years you're going to be in the right place in the market and you're going to have the right offer for the people who are interested in your product. We see that there are companies that engage with startups all the time, and then when they do, they focus initially on what we would say is the low-hanging fruit. So what are the ones that they initially can quickly see how to pull them in and make their business better? So if you're a startup, that's the first place to go to get some traction in the market. But after that, in year 2, 3, and 4, you start moving, shifting towards a position where you're looking at longer-term co-development and transformation. If you're thinking about how to work with startups and you want to get into transformation, how do you know what to look for? What technology do you want to look for? What type of businesses do you want to look for? What type of capabilities do you need? And we've developed something called business-driven innovation, which basically takes you all the way from anticipating the market trend, so that's looking 2 to 5 years out, all the way to today's portfolio. So what do I need to be doing today? What actions do I need to be taking to produce the innovation that I want to have in a couple years from now? When you're using startups and you're looking into Silicon Valley, which we're all just right here, leveraging startups is an easy way to accelerate what you're doing today. There's an accelerator model out there today where you can go and figure out who's out there, what are they doing. You can look at what the futuristic startups are looking at. And you can also get a sense for what's happening in the marketplace. Where is the innovation happening? Whether you want to connect with the startups or whether you want to bring that in, you at least can see what the competitive landscape looks like. So this is an open innovation model. It's not unique to us necessarily. We do work with companies on open innovation. So the first thing is to source. So we go and look at hundreds of companies, figuring out which ones are the right ones. We go through a selection process, and then after that, we mobilize. So we start to put together pilots, We implement the pilots for the company, because once you have a startup, what do you do with them? How do you work together, and how do you decide what to do? And then analyze, so making sure that the value that was promised is the value that was delivered. So this one, and then there's selection criteria. So this is just an example. You might have different selection criteria. So we look at what's the company looking for, that's that innovation brief up at the top. And then what are the characteristics of the startup that we would like to have, or that we'd like to work with. And then what's the business opportunity? And so this is really where you get the business case and the justification of the value. So there's a lot of metrics that you can actually track for innovation, and I wanted to just point these out. So we know a lot of people look at the financial metrics, but financial metrics are a lagging indicator. Financials have already happened. The sales have already happened. You've already gotten the ROI. You've already made the investment. So it's late. So to just measure the financials is actually not the best thing to do, because it's too late to do anything different. Of course, you can impact the future financials, but you can't impact any of your current financials ever. So then let's look at the market. So do we have new products? Are we competitive? Are we competing on value, or are we competing on price? How are we acting in the market? How many startups are entering our market? It's a really good indicator of disruption that we should be paying attention to. And then products. So are we anticipating new technologies? Are we advancing our product? Are we looking far enough out? And do we have ROI for all the new projects that we've got going on? And then renewal. This is really the leading indicator over here. And I mentioned talent earlier. So if you've got the people who are the most innovative in your company leaving, that's a very early indicator that you're not so innovative. Meanwhile, if you're attracting people to your company because they want to be innovative and you are innovative, that's a good early sign that you are an innovative group. So an innovation strategy has 4 components. So you want to have that emerging reality. You want to know how the economics are changing in the marketplace. You want to know what your innovation horizon timeline looks like. And then you want to know what the business case and what the business reasons are for innovating in your company. We know that we want to create the future. We know that we need to understand what that future looks like. The future isn't defined, so it's directionally right, specifically wrong. So figure out what the direction is, and we start heading that way.
Great. Well, let's give you one.
Thank you very much.